Great. Well, good morning, everyone, and what a pleasure it is to be here for this MEF Forum. I want to take this opportunity to thank Caitlin and TJ for having me here today to welcome all of you on behalf of the Canadian Telecom Association, and I want to congratulate them for all the great work they're doing, and it's wonderful to hear this is the second year now that you've been in Toronto, in Canada. We've got a vast country, so we hope you keep coming back every year, and maybe we move things around. I thought I'd just start off by telling you a little bit about myself. So I've been now President and CEO of the Canadian Telecom Association for about the last 7.5 years. Prior to that, though, I like to say I'm a reformed politician. I was the Premier of Prince Edward Island. Just to put that in equation for people, it's like being the Governor of Rhode Island, or maybe the Governor of Hawaii. It's even better than that. I come from a beautiful little area of the country. We are on the East Coast. We're a little island. We've only got about 175,000 people, but we're known for our potatoes. We're the Idaho of Canada. We're known for our lobsters, mussels, oysters. If you've sampled any of those at any point, you'll probably see the PEI logo on there, but we also have beautiful golf courses, Anne of Green Gables for those in the literary world, lots of arts and culture, beautiful sandy beaches. Obviously, I'm doing a little bit of an advertisement here to MEF to say, next year, why don't you come to Prince Edward Island? But, you know, I've had a great run doing that, and then I guess when I got out of politics in 2015, I was doing the consulting thing, and then I got approached by a headhunter for this Canadian Telecom Association. I remember going home and telling my kids, and they said, "Dad, technology? Are you sure? You don't even know how to turn on the TV." And I'm like, well, I thought that it would be a great opportunity to try something new. And what I discovered was that telecom does not get the recognition that they deserve. Because telecom is, like we said on here, we're the enabler. We connect people. We make the world happen. Every industry in the world now depends on being connected. That's why it's so important that we talk about creating an environment so that our members, those facilities-based providers, are able to invest to connect more people. Because the more people that we connect, the more business you folks have, the better our healthcare system's going to be, education system. Let's face it, the largest companies in the world would not exist if it Google, there'd be no Google or Meta or any of those companies if it was not for the connectivity that takes place in this world. So I love promoting our industry. It's one of the main functions of my job, telling everybody how great we are and all the great investments that we're making, but there's still more to do. We also do a lot within our association, and for those from the US, we're basically the equivalent of the CTIA in the US, but we do a lot of advocacy work as well, dealing with the CRTC, which is our regulator, dealing with all different types of government. It's a little easier dealing with the regulator at times than it is with government. Government can be knee-jerk reactions and have to abide by the political rules and perhaps some of the people that are demanding too much, but it's good when you have a regulator. You're going to have the opportunity to hear from our former regulator a little later on this morning. We might not have always agreed, but we always respected each other, and I think that I always used to like to say, if you're in one of those roles as a regulator, if you have the consumer groups and the telecom groups that are neither happy, then you're doing something right. You're trying to find that middle ground. Now, we'd like it if the telecoms were happy all the time, but we realize that that cannot be the reality of the world. In terms of other things we do at the association, we run a lot of programs. So, of course, we run short codes, Mobile Giving Foundation, Text with 911, Device Check, Wireless Accessibility, Stack, research and education. We do a lot of that, a lot of different reports that I'm going to talk a little bit about right now. So I just want to lay out a few facts on Canadian Telecom while I had the opportunity. I know we only have a former regulator here, but I love giving this pitch to government officials and our regulators. So I just want to talk about what a leader Canada is within the telecom sector. So if you look at where we are, we just did a report with PwC last month. We're contributing $80.8 billion to the GDP in Canada in 2023, supporting over 780,000 jobs across numerous industries, and we have the potential to add another $112 billion to the GDP by 2035 by enabling digitization, automation, and the digital economy. Service providers invested $11.4 billion in network investments in 2023, and these investments represented 17.9% of service provider revenue. And what I like to point out to our, and you can see it on the graph, to our regulators and government officials, if you look at how much Canadian carriers contribute to building networks and maintaining networks compared to our equivalents around the world, we're obviously leading the way. Canada also has the highest percentage of homes with 1 gigabyte of coverage in the G7 at more than 83%, according to the CRTC. Now, I always like to say that's why we need our regulator and our government to create the economic environment or the regulatory environment so that my members can go out and build. Because the more we can connect Canadians, the more that they're going to have the opportunity to take advantage of the digital economy. Now, right now, we're at 99% of Canadians, actually 99.5% of Canadians actually have wireless service where they live or work. But as you know, we're a vast nation and there's a lot of areas across Canada that don't. And I think that, you know, through building more towers, through satellite technology, we'll be able to hopefully fill in those gaps. Now, I also want to talk about some misconceptions. One of the biggest misconceptions, I'm sure wherever you are, it's funny, everybody wherever you live always thinks the grass is greener on the other side. And in Canada, Canadians love, now I think any industry where you send out a monthly bill, it's hard to be liked. But in Canada, you know, Canadians love to complain about the cost of their telecommunications. But if you look in Canada, we have over the last year, the all items index was up 2.9%, while we were down 19% year over year. And in fact, wireless prices in Canada are down 49% over the last 5 years. Now, some of our American friends may not like this, but we do, our ISED department does some research. They visit they do 5 different buckets where they look at it in terms of prices versus Canada and the US. And believe it or not, when you factor in the exchange rate now, Canada has lower sell rates in 4 out of those 5 buckets right now. In terms of internet access services, down 9.7% year over year, and providers increasing value for customers. New polling we released last month shows Canadians benefiting with lower prices and more data services. Canada's leadership in telecom should be nothing new for everyone in this room. We know that Bell's invention of the telephone came from Canada. We were the birthplace of the BlackBerry, which led to the mobile email revolution, and one of the first countries to enable inter-operator SMS. As per MEF data, Canadians are leaders in texting with family and friends, and MEF found last year that 64% of Canadians said SMS was their preferred way to communicate with friends and family, ranking Canada, again, first in the world. 35% of Canadians also listed MSS as the preferred way of communicating with businesses, ranking second in the world. Messaging in Canada helps to connect us and helps drive the digital economy. MGFC, our mobile giving function that we enable through the Canadian Telecom Association, has enabled more than 800 Canadian registered charities to collect over $10 million in donations through Text to Donate platform, and I can only see that growing into the future. Total number of active short codes in Canada has increased by over 300% since 2008. And a PwC report released last month shows telecom sector helping increase productivity in our country. Further expansion of RCS is exciting and long-awaited developments in this space. So I want to thank everyone for coming out today. That's just a little bit on our background. I hope you'll get to hear a little bit more when you hear from our regulator and some other speakers later on today. But I do want to say that it's been an absolute pleasure for me to be here today. I'm kind of watching that clock and making sure I don't go too much over, and I think I may have, but that's okay. And next year, I hope you have the opportunity to come back to Canada. If you don't get to PEI next year, perhaps you can get there the year after, or hey, just tag on a family trip when you come to Toronto next year.